first thing I remember is the smell of burned rubber and rain. That and the sound of a heart monitor that didn't belong to me. When I opened my eyes, I saw ceiling lights sliding past like searchlights, the blur of nurses running, and a voice calling my name. "Elena Parker, stay with us." I tried to answer, but my mouth felt full of metal. My chest burned. My fingers wouldn't move. Somewhere in the haze between painkillers and panic, I remember dialing my husband's number, Dylan Reeves, right before everything went black. I had been driving home to tell him something that was supposed to change our lives forever. I'd inherited $24 million from my aunt. I was shaking when I told him, crying with relief. For once, I thought I could fix everything between us. His startup debts, the fights, the silence. We could start over. He told me to come straight home. "Don't tell anyone, not even your sister." His voice was calm, too calm. The truck came out of nowhere. 2 lanes over, then straight into my door. I didn't even have time to scream. When I woke again, it was 3 days later. Dylan wasn't there. No flowers, no calls. Just the steady beep of the machine counting what was left of me. I thought maybe he didn't know. Maybe he was scared. But the nurse, an older woman with soft eyes and a hard voice, told me someone had already come. A man named Dylan Reeves. He didn't ask about my condition. He only asked for my purse. That's when I realized the accident wasn't an accident. It was a plan, and I wasn't supposed to survive it. When I first stepped into Mr. Howard's office, the air smelled of mahogany and old paper. His walls were lined with degrees and family photos that weren't mine yet. The space felt safe. He'd been my aunt's attorney for decades, calm, deliberate, the kind of man who didn't need to raise his voice. He slid a folder toward me. "Your aunt left you everything," he said. "The estate, the stocks, the trust. About 24 million. I stared, stunned. Aunt Helen hadn't spoken to our family in 20 years. She'd lived quietly in Vermont, sending unsigned Christmas cards. I'd thought her eccentric, not wealthy, and now she'd chosen me. "Why me?" I asked. Mr. Howard smiled faintly. "She said you reminded her of herself before the world disappointed her." It should have been touching, but all I could think of was Dylan, how he'd finally smile again, how our debts could vanish. I'd always believed he was just unlucky. Maybe this was our second chance. I left the office clutching the folder, dizzy with hope. In the echoing parking garage, I called Dylan. He answered sharply. "What's wrong? I'm in the middle of something." "Dylan, Aunt Helen left me everything. 24 million. We're free." Silence. Then his voice shifted, calm, careful. "Don't tell anyone. Not your sister, not your mother. Just come home. Now." Something about his tone chilled me, but I ignored it. I promised I'd be home soon and started the car. Rain began to fall, thin silver streaks under the lights. I turned onto the main road, humming Imagining Freedom. Then headlights filled the mirror, too close, too fast. The truck swerved across lanes and hit my door. The sound was thunderglass fire and then nothing. When I woke 3 days later, the folder was gone. So was my purse. The first face I saw when I woke wasn't Dylan's, it was a nurse's. An older woman with silver braids tucked neatly under her cap badge reading Harper Quinn RN. She smiled when my eyes fluttered open, but her eyes stayed tired. "Welcome back, sweetheart," she said, checking the monitor. "You've been out for 3 days. 3 days." The words made no sense. Pain flared in my ribs when I tried to sit. My voice rasped. "Where's my husband? Did he call?" She hesitated. "No one's been here, honey. We tried your emergency contact." No answer. No answer. The man who used to panic if I was late coming home hadn't picked up the phone after a near-fatal crash. It had to be a mistake. I reached for the hospital phone. Harper helped me dial. The line rang twice then. Music, laughter, Dylan's voice, sharp and irritated. "What?" "It's me," I whispered. "Elena. I was in an accident." He didn't sound shocked, just annoyed. "What did you do now?" "Jesus. Elena, I'm in a meeting." Tears burned. "Dylan, please. I almost died." He sighed. "You always make it about you. Handle it yourself." Then the line went dead. The silence after was heavier than the crash. Harper gently set the phone back on the cradle. She looked like she'd seen this kind of heartbreak before, the quiet kind. "Honey," she said softly, "you should know something." She pulled a folder from her pocket. "Billing flagged your account. Someone's been using your card luxury stores big amounts. Security footage confirmed it." My chest tightened. "What are you saying?" "A man came in the night you were admitted," she said. "Said he was your husband. Took your purse, signed your name. That same card was used the next day at a Rolex boutique." The room tilted. Dylan had been here not to check on me, but to steal. Harper's hand was warm over mine. "You survived something terrible, Elena. Maybe it's time to ask yourself why." I stared at the ceiling, his words replaying in my mind. Somewhere inside, anger began to rise, quiet, sharp, and alive. The next morning, I asked for the curtains open. Light filled the room, harsh but alive. Harper came in, humming, stopped when she saw my face. I remember I whispered. She set the clipboard down. "Remember what the crash." I was leaving the attorney's office. I called Dylan, told him about the money. He told me to come straight home. His voice. It sounded like he'd already decided something. I stared at my bruised hands. I saw headlights behind me too close. Then they crossed over straight for me. I swallowed hard. "It wasn't an accident." Harper's voice softened. "You think your husband, I know." She exhaled slowly. "Then you need to protect yourself. Don't go home." I nodded. If he wanted me gone, surviving ruined his plan. Somewhere that folder from Mr. Howard's office still existed, proof of my inheritance, what he couldn't touch. After Harper left, I called Mr. Howard. His calm voice steadied me. "Ms. Parker, I heard about the accident." "Someone tried to kill me," I said. "I believe you," he replied. "The trust is sealed. No one can access it without your signature. Not even a spouse." Tears blurred my vision. "Then he has nothing." "That's what worries me," he said. "I'm sending one of our best attorneys, Veronica Lane. She'll protect you and handle everything." I thanked him, relief flooding in. But when the call ended, the name lingered, Veronica Lane. I didn't know then how much her arrival would change. I leaned back, listening to the steady beep of the monitor. For the first time, I wasn't afraid of dying, only of what surviving meant. By the time the door opened, I'd practiced a dozen ways to greet Veronica Lane, imagining someone older, steady kind. I wasn't ready for what walked in. Dylan came first. Sharp suit, fake smile, looking like a man at a board meeting. Then he stepped aside. A tall woman entered, elegant, composed pearls and precision in motion. Elena, Dylan said smoothly. "You remember Veronica? She's here to finalize things." "Finalize what I asked." Veronica smiled thinly. "Mrs. Reeves, we just need your signature granting Dylan authority over your finances while you recover." Recover. My ribs ached at the word. "Mr. Howard sent you?" Her brow twitched. "Mr. Howard?" "My attorney," I said. Her eyes flicked to my hospital bracelet, Elena Parker. The color drained from her face. She turned to the chart, scanning fast. Papers slipped from her briefcase. "Oh my God," she breathed. "You're Elena Parker." Dylan froze. "What are you talking about?" "She's my client." Veronica's voice cracked through the room. "The Parker Trust, $24 million. You hired me to steal from my own client." Silence. Then Dylan snapped. "She's lying," but the panic gave him away. Veronica's voice went cold. "You used me, paid me with her card." He lunged, desperate, but before his hand reached me, 2 security guards burst in and pinned him down. His suit tore as he shouted, pride unraveling. Veronica stood pale, trembling, watching everything she thought she knew fall apart. It was over, or so I thought. Until Dylan, breathless on the floor, lifted his head and spat. "You think this ends with me? Ask your sister." The room erupted. Guards pinned Dylan to the floor as he kicked and shouted. Veronica stood, frozen fury and shock flooding her face, every forged signature, every purchase suddenly clear. "You paid me with her credit card," she hissed. Dylan struggled against the guards. "She's insane. She staged this. She's stealing from me." "Enough." Veronica dialed fast. "Freeze every account under Parker 03. Fraud, identity theft, and..." She glanced at me. "Attempted murder." Her gaze steadied on mine. You're safe now. He's finished, but Dylan wasn't done. You think you're safe, Elena? You think I did this alone. Ethan knows Lydia knows. They're coming for you too. The guards yanked him up, cuffed suit torn. You'll never see that money, he spat as they dragged him away. Silence settled heavy and electric. Veronica gathered her briefcase, eyes still cold. I owe you an apology. He lied to us both. I'll make sure he pays. I nodded weakly. He said my sister's name. Ethan and Lydia, she asked. Yes, her tone sharpened. Then it's not over. If your family's tied to this, it's bigger than fraud, conspiracy, inheritance theft, maybe worse. My throat tightened. Ethan told him what to do. Veronica's expression hardened. Then that's where we start. You'll stay under protection. I'll have our investigator trace every Parker Trust transaction. For the first time, I felt steadier. Dylan was gone, but danger still lingered. Harper appeared at the door. Police are on their way, Miss Parker. Veronica looked toward the flashing lights outside. Good, she said. Because this isn't the end. It's the beginning. And I knew she was right. The crash was only the first strike. The real war was just beginning. By the end of the week, I'd stopped feeling like a hospital victim and became something sharper. Survival as strategy. Veronica and I worked in the suite among files and transaction maps linking Cole Ventures Dylan's accounts and offshore holdings tied to my sister. The room smelled of espresso and tension. Every ping from her investigator was another proof our family had been an investment with an exit plan. At midnight, she closed her laptop. We have enough, she said. Financial manipulation, premeditated attack, fraudulent petition. Atlanta glittered below. They won't stop, because we have evidence, I warned. No, she agreed, but they'll hesitate. Fear works even on the untouchable. I thought of Lydia, once the sister who braided my hair, and realized she didn't follow she planned. Veronica poured 2 whiskeys. To second chances, she offered. I corrected her. To revenge. She smiled thinly. Same thing if you do it right. Veronica had already arranged a quiet way to regain control of the Parker Trust, shifting assets into a private foundation under a new name so the media couldn't trace it. You could disappear, she said. Move, start fresh. Let them think they won, Gnome. Veronica set her glass down. We move carefully. Every step leaves a mark. We'll make sure theirs lead into the fire. A siren faded in the distance. For the first time since the crash, I felt calm. My name was Elena Parker. I was alive. With Veronica, a lawyer with everything to lose and a temper to match, I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was preparing payback. Start with Ethan Cole, I said, and Lydia, Veronica added. Lydia comes last. I smiled. I want her to watch it all burn. I wasn't in a hospital 2 days later. Veronica had moved me to a 4-season suite under a false name. It was 2 beautiful, golden light lilies, 2 private security guards posted outside. Every hallway noise made me flinch. Veronica sat across from me, focused. We traced the payment for the truck, she said. It came from Cole Ventures, LLC. My blood ran cold. Ethan's company, I whispered. She nodded. A wire went out 48 hours before the crash, $50,000. Clean. The driver used fake plates, but toll cameras caught him 3 exits before impact. He's in custody. She slid a grainy photo of the truck across the table. They hadn't aimed just for money. They'd tried to erase me. Veronica's voice hardened. Dylan named your sister because Ethan Cole orchestrated it. He promised Dylan he'd take care of things. I swallowed. And Lydia, Veronica turned her laptop. A Fulton County Family Court PDF glowed on screen, an emergency petition for conservatorship filed yesterday. They're claiming you're unfit to handle the inheritance. If approved, they get control. She pushed another page toward me, my mother's affidavit signed in her familiar blue ink, calling me unstable and dangerous. For a long moment, I only stared. My family had joined the attack lawyers instead of trucks. Veronica leaned in. They think they've won. This affidavit is evidence of conspiracy. We'll use it. We'll trace shell accounts, expose the payments, and make sure the court hears the truth. Outside, thunder rolled. I looked at the rain-slick skyline and felt something fierce rise. Not fear, but purpose. They tried to bury me, I said quietly. Now I'll make sure they drown. Veronica closed the laptop. Then let's start digging.